Molweni. Good morning. Why is everybody sounding so down? You just had the president in the city yesterday, so you should be a bit cheerful today. I did say Molweni, good morning. I also want to say Timachironi. Yeah, that's a vendor for good morning. So at least when you walk away from here today, you will have learned at least one word from me. And you can use it safely. I'm a reliable source on that one, Timachironi, which means good morning. I'm sure when all of you got your invitations to this function, and before this function, when you first heard about the word AIM, a few questions came to your head. What does this AIM mean? What do they aim for? Am I right? Yeah. I had a different reaction when I first heard the word AIM. My reaction was amazement and fascination that such a small name can mean so much. Abantu Integrity Movement. Abantu, as you know, means people. People from all walks of life, from all strata of society. People mean everything. When they write great constitutions, they say, we the people, and then say everything else. That's how important people are. And that's why it's the first part of our name, people, Abantu. Integrity is a big word and very important for us in the context of the political crisis in the country, in the context of state corruption, which is now the second pandemic after COVID. Integrity talks to what's missing from our political setup, what's missing from the people who are in leadership, integrity. And that's what AIM plans to bring to the table. Movement, great songwriter you might be familiar with, called Bob Marley, wrote a song called Movement of the People. You see, it goes back to people again. Movement of the people. When there's movement of the people is when they're fed up about something. Like AIM is today. To say we've put up for so long with corruption, with maladministration, now there's movement of the people. Movement in our context also says that we are not a political party. And that's very important. We are not a political party, we are a movement. We are not politicians, we are representatives of the people. So that's all embodied in that movement. And it's very significant because if you look at the people who are in leadership positions now, they will be identified as the ANC MP, Member of Parliament. He's called that, or she's called that, because that person represents the party and not the people. You would be called a DA-MPL because you are in the provincial legislature to represent the party and not the people. You would be called a UTM councillor because you are in the council to represent the party, not the people. So that's where movement comes in, that we are not a political party, but a movement that represents the residents. As Bob Marley said, movement of the people.
Thanks, Mandy. Morning, everybody. My name is Graham Sauls. I'm very new to this movement, but I'm an old hand at the cause that I'm involved in. In AIM, my focus will be on sports and recreation, because that's where my background is and that's where my passion lies. It's heartbreaking for me to see the state of our facilities in the northern areas and the townships, and just the fact that our youngsters are not playing sport. So now, our aim is to change that, and now is the right time for that. So I'm looking forward to my role, and I'm looking forward to making a difference. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Monde Makula. I'm the head of policy development AIM. Obviously, some of us have grown up in this PE area. Some of us have worked for government, and absolutely nothing. I'm not going to say it's a waste of years, but some of us have got integrity to defend. And I think AIM is the right platform to defend our integrity and again reinstate confidence in, of people to us as a movement. So I'm very excited to join the movement, and I'm looking forward to work with you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Goedemorgen. My name is Denise Hartman, and I am from the northern areas. I always call the northern areas the forgotten land because there's nothing happening. And joining AIM is just one of, because AIM is change. And I'm looking forward to bringing the change in the northern areas. Our children are dying, and it's a very sad, sad thing to lose a child. But yeah, AIM is here for change, and the northern areas are looking forward to the change that AIM is bringing. Thank you.
Good morning, Nda. Goeiemorgen allemaal. My name is Neil Kamfer. I'm a local businessman and social entrepreneur here in PE. And my role in AIM is really around the issue of people and economic development, and how we bridge the gap and engage people more productively than what we've done before. There's a saying that I like to quote nowadays. It's from an oldish gentleman in the 80s that taught us so much about values. And he said, if you want to be heard, speak up. If you want to be seen, stand up. But if you want to be appreciated, shut up. And in 2016, the people of this metro stayed at home and shut up to send a very powerful message to the people of this metro that they will not be taken for granted with their vote. And that's why I've joined AIM with this precise thing that we can say, now it's time to stand up, it's time to speak out, because it's no more time to shut up. Let's move.
Hi, good morning. Molweni, Goeiemorgen, Sanibonani. I've recently joined the new bee called AIM, and my portfolio at AIM would be in charge of the administration and finances. And we all know the state of finances within our political parties in the country, and we are where we are as a country precisely because of money, greed. And here we are, and my name is Patricia. Other people know me as Gwesh, which is my nickname, Makrina. Thanks.
Morning everyone, my name is Gary Kukumor. I'm one of two Gary Kukumors in the city, and both of us are involved in community affairs. You'd have seen me occasionally in the press about environmental stuff, and if you were here in the 90s, you'd have seen me standing between police and crowds in a white coat with doves on the back. We've been here for a very long time. I truly believe that this is the best little city in the world, and I think that we need to reach that potential. And that's why we've started AIM. Abantu Integrity Movement. Our middle name is Integrity. We're a movement, we're about change. and we're going to bring that to the city. So we're inviting everyone on this journey. You'll see that environmental stuff, particularly from my side, will play a key role in terms of how we go forward, because we think that the city has fantastic natural resources. If you look at the bay out there, it's an incredible resource. We've got about 8 or 9 rivers that run through our city. It's unique in the world, and we want to emphasize that as part of AIM. So thank you very much, and it's great to be part of the team. And then just to say, for my sins, I'm the Secretary General, so I try and make all of this happen. And we're late. If we're late, it's because of me. So thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, my name is Mike Tycho. To make it easy, I'm called Mr. X, the brand I like so much. And then I joined AIM simply because of the challenges facing our country and our land, our people. And I'm so happy to see youngsters like you, Stera. Thank you, my boy. Thank you for coming here. As well as Makwabe and all other youngsters that are here. The board is going to be no great boards because we're already over our 60s. So you'll be getting that challenge. And then I'm so proud to be here. You don't believe how proud am I to be here. Thanks very much. And then I'm asked quickly to introduce my dear friend and comrade, Mr. Khusta Jack. I've been with him for more than donkeys of years. We've planned many things, taken some risks that were death-defying risks during our age. And then we're on the same journey. Never in a moment when he touches me or I touch him for saving our people, black, white, Indians, and colors, we jump on the roof. We don't care whoever says we're wrong. If we believe our people are right, we shall always be right. Our people are right when they say our money is not in good hands right now. You saw last night on television, Mr. Khusta, the ball is in your hands. Thank you very much, Jabarish.
Thank you, Mr. X.
Thank you very much. Last night, you watched the television. You remember, we told you that we are going to make them know the word integrity. They are going to know to write it, to pronounce it. And last night, the president mentioned that word more than 8 times. So that's the first victory, Mr. X, in the litany of failures that are behind our backs. So we are making progress. I stand here today with all humility as a resident of Nelson Mandela Bay to address our greatest concern over the last decade, the rapidly deteriorating state of our metro, the place we love, the place we call home. I express a sentiment held by millions of people around the country when I say it is the ultimate insult to the memory of a great man, an international icon, the father of our nation, that a metro named after him has been allowed to deteriorate to the current state. We know that President Mandela was the embodiment of selflessness. He was prepared to sacrifice his liberty, allowed, even, as you remember his famous words, his own life, he was prepared to put it for the people of this country at stake. We expected those who took up leadership from him and who claimed to have been his comrades would try to share his values and emulate what he stood for. Unfortunately, the reality experienced by the people is far removed from a better life for all. Nelson Mandela's hope, ushered in 28 years ago, has now been replaced by misery, despair, poverty, and hunger. Honest people have been replaced by crooked politicians who think nothing of stealing from the poor or looting public resources, even in the middle of a pandemic. Sadly, the decay we are seeing in our metro today is only a microcosm of what is happening all over the country. Just about everywhere, municipalities are failing. According to the Auditor General, out of 257 municipalities audited, only 20 received clean audits. More than 90% could not account in a satisfactory manner. That is dangerous. I'm referring to this report to show that the rot is not only here in our metro. As a nation, we are in deep, deep trouble. This means that we all have a duty to make a big contribution to end this abuse of the public trust and resources. In our case, the current disarray in the municipality is a shameful betrayal of everything that President Mandela fought for. Our municipality, in its official documents, gives the following statement as its vision for the metro. I quote, "To be a global, competitive, and preferred metropole that works collectively with the people to improve lives, boost the economy, advocating zero corruption, and to have a transformed administration aimed at enhancing service delivery." Most of you will say the statement is a circus joke. The local government MEC's office admit that the municipality is dysfunctional. That office says their relationship with the council has broken down. At one stage, they wanted to install an administrator in the metro on the grounds that the council was not working. Remember, the British colonial Britain ruled the whole world with governors. Our friends are using administrators. Actually, if you remember, the first administrator to come here, he was going by the name of Hani, but he changed it now. Actually, what he did was distraction. That's when the rot started. And then they brought in quite a few thereafter. All of them left the metro in a mess. And that is why today you find the metro in its current state. It is important that, Kaloku, that these spheres of government have to work together if they are going to be able to deliver the services to our people. But if they are busy fighting, there's no doubt that the people will suffer the way they are suffering at the moment. The current mayor has had to be elected twice in a matter of weeks. You can think of, maybe was it 3 or 2, I don't know. After the provincial government challenged his first election in court and won, to them, political self-preservation comes first before the interest of the people. You have had Athol Trollip, who was hastily ejected from office. Mongameli Bobani was unceremoniously booted out of office. Then came Tsonono Buyeye, who also made an unremarkable cameo appearance as a mayor. Ngababanga is practically wobbling in his second lap of mayorship in a space of 3 months. Is it a surprise then that our metro is in such a serious state of decay? The answer to that question is that the time has come for all of us as residents and patriots to stand up and put an end to this political circus. It is time for change. It is time for change. We cannot sit back and allow self-serving politicians to preside over the decline of our metro. It's time for honest and responsible men and women to take charge, to bring a new vision to our municipality, to bring hope of a new beginning to our people, and to act with integrity. You could do anything you want. You could bring the most brilliant person who's educated. If he has no integrity, the struggle is lost. By the way, for those who like history, do you know why Kabila was undermined by Che Guevara? I hope the young people who love Che Guevara today, they know this. Actually, it was the behavior of Kabila that led Comrade Che Guevara to leave the Congo and go back to Bolivia where he died. It was because of the ill-discipline of his comrade. In those days, there was no such thing as ill-discipline of a comrade. Comrades were expected all the time to act. Let me not say comrades, let me say leaders, to act with integrity at all times. And that is why we are going to force at least that everybody is going to be able to write, to pronounce the name integrity. We are duty bound to act. We have no choice. To avoid complicity in the destruction of this beautiful city region, which we so love and call a home, we must act now. We must act for change. The metro is the inheritance of future generations. Our role is only to develop and take good care of it. We can't have at the helm caretakers with destructive tendencies. When our grandchildren pose the question, what did you do in the midst of the destruction? We will say we did our best. Graham Sauce, you will say, yes, I was on the fringes of society. I have never stood on a political platform in my life. I never thought I would ever do that. But the sight of the destruction of our young people in the streets of the northern areas, in the townships, and everywhere in Summerstrand last weekend is calling upon everyone to do something. And you will stand tall when your children will be looking at your behavior and the road that we have walked and say, my father, my grandfather tried his best. That's all. I'm calling upon you just to do that. Victory is not guaranteed. And the absence of victory is not going to stop us from doing what we have to do. The victory will be achieved. It doesn't need to be achieved by ourselves. That is how we joined the struggle. We never knew that freedom will come in our lifetime. We're just going into emotions. So that when that question is posed, we know that we can say we did our bit. Chaos, violence, and political wrangling have brought the council to a halt. Actually, it doesn't exist in the real sense of being a council, if we tell the truth. They are ducking and diving, they are hiding. If the others are coming to the meeting, the others are running so that the meeting doesn't happen. Where have you ever seen that? It's a shame, it's a disgrace. The consequences of that irresponsible behavior, it trickled down to the administration and result in dysfunctional municipality that is failing. My plea to fellow residents today is that we must shift our vote to ensure that men and women of integrity lead this metro and act on behalf of all the residents, not these people who are dividing our people. Let me tell you, you might enjoy them when they divide black and white, colored and blacks, Indians and that, this and that. Wait until they come to discriminate you. You will have a problem at your hands. We need a cultural change in our municipality. We need to put in place a new force with a firm mandate which brings about the necessary change. I stood with you when my fellow patriots took up the fight against apartheid crime. I am ready to stand again with my fellow residents as we fight against maladministration and corruption. If all of us work together, we will change this dire situation in the metro. The politicians have abused our trust. Let's roll our sleeves and take our destiny into our own hands. It is in that spirit that I stand here today to appeal to the people of Nelson Mandela Bay to give their firm and unambiguous mandate to AIM-Abantu integrity movement to lead that process of renewal. AIM plans to introduce a major mind shift which will breathe new life into the way our municipality does business. We will separate the council from administration and have clear roles and responsibilities. The separation of political and management roles is critical for good governance. There will be no ignoring of rules and regulation as been the practice in the past decade. Corrupt politicians and crooked officials will not be allowed to help themselves in public funds. The job to elect of people elected is simple. They must provide political leadership by proposing policies. They must be guiding the development of budgets and overseeing their implementations. Councillors should not use confidential information for private purpose or corrupt purposes. Councillors must read and understand all the municipality rules and regulations. It is clear that from the way the people have done things, these people really have never given themselves a chance to read what actually is their role. We will make sure that everybody understands his role. We will not allow the blurring of lines. Everyone will stay in his own lane and perform the function they were elected for. And those employed to do what they are being paid to do. There will be no coercing of honest men and women in the employ of the municipality in order to bend the rules for these political thieves. Many people in the municipality have gone sick as a result of pressure put to them by politicians who want them to blatantly break the rules. That's where the bottleneck starts in the delivery of services of our people. People cannot do the way they see, the way they are trained, how to do their thing. They must just wait until the secretary from the what do they call it, RTT? Remember, most of the secretaries of the RTT have never have never done any responsible role in their lives. They control not only the RTT, but they control a 12 billion rand municipality. That is just, that doesn't make sense. As a result of what all they are doing, there are delays in awarding contracts to do the work that needs to be done, budgets not spent efficiently and on time, politicians getting in the way, ensuring that their cronies get awarded lucrative contracts. Contractors' bids are stuck in the adjudication committees for, for years. Communities are angry. The mayor's standard response is to run around posing for photo opportunities and sound bites. Same old, copy and paste of his predecessors. It is not his job to fix potholes. Please. His job is to demand answers and take stern action when the responsible officials fail to do their work. AIM-Abantu integrity movement will change this. Sayiguqula le nto. Ons gaan hierdie ding verander. Ons gaan reg werk. People are going to work right for the first time. Not come and gamble here. Gosh. We will send to the council men and women with integrity who will be driven by one objective: to put the interest of the residents first in all their decisions. According to the Auditor General, Mr. Kimi Makwetu, a good friend and a dear man to me, said, we have the wrong hands at the till. Zanga ezisetilini ezi leti sithetha ngayo ke le yenqanawa le yaselwandle, not le yemali. They are wrong hands. You're bound to hit the iceberg. You're bound to hit the rocks. We must change course. AIM is here to change course. Change direction. As AIM, we are ready to turn the ship around. The key pillars of our vision, which will guide the development of our metro into a business and a lifestyle city region of choice. The council, to start with the council, we will put a credible and competent council of public representatives. That's number one. I know you figure square pegs, you try to put square pegs in a hole. You will never succeed. It doesn't work. Which will focus on working for the residents' best interest as its foremost objective. We'll stop the political circus. Our councillors will be answerable directly to the residents and not to a political party or to some oligarch. These days, money oligarchs, tenderpreneurs are at the top. Actually, they move from stealing and rise straight to be an MEC in our own province here. Yes, I call it. The municipality. We will create an enabling environment for the emergence of a professional, customer-focused municipal administration and workforce which will put service to the people first. We will stop the bullying of officials, creating healthy working environments where employees will rediscover the inspiration to their work diligently and be motivated to serve with pride. As far as service delivery, we will jack up service delivery. We'll speed up maintenance and development of the infrastructure, which has been allowed to Nansiga to just break. The economic development plan, unfortunately, I don't like to talk too much. I'll just read one thing about it. My learned man here, Unil, is better equipped, more calm, more for sure. A crap immense and the verkeerde kant. So Neil, he is a man that can hierdie ding doen van economie, because you need a calm person. You don't, and a person who can do things, and he is guiding us. We got people here, I got guided even in this speech. I didn't write it. It's written by a team that have these ideas naturally in themselves. And they say, here they are. This is how everything is going to work. We take what? It's the first time that you're going to get a council or councillors that knows from day one. Uguti, we come in knowing exactly what we want to do, what we are going to do. All the people we are going to have, the others, are going to be taken from brawling branches and straight into the city hall. And you get surprised when they take a vase of water and struck it in the head of another one to impress their argument, to push their argument. We're not going to do that. We want people. We got it on our details. You will be given that. The economic plan. Community development. We got people, we have worked, people who are qualified, and we are not guessing, making guesswork. Listen, guys, I'm not being rude, okay? Just imagine a person who got elected in a branch because he was a bully, and he comes, you give him the portfolio of infrastructure. I think it's about, I don't know how many billions here. Please, where will he start? The man rose through violence where he comes from. He's a violent man. That's why he got elected. Now you give him the responsibility of being in charge of these matters. We are going to put an end to that. Environment. Oh, we got a lot of environmental people here. That's one thing that we have. We will do everything to see to it that the environment is protected for the future of our children. Our parks are kept clean, safe, secured, so that families can just at any time, on any day, go and walk with their children in any place, public space, any time. We will bring back those glorious days when men and women, children, girls and boys could walk anytime, anywhere, without a threat of losing their lives. We will see to it that we bring order. What Graham was explaining about why it is important to jump straight away into things like sport and things like the environment for the family and for the sport for the young people, it is because if our children are occupied, there will be no market for drugs. There will be no market for drunkenness. There will be no market for killings and all those things our children are doing. They do those things because the rugby fields are destroyed. The libraries are gone. The public halls for dancing, ballet, and those things are gone. And those are the things that we will be working on them. Hence, to tell you the truth, we are not bringing anything new. We will mend the car that is in front of us. It has everything. It is sufficient. There is no need for us to think ideologies and ideas of doing things. Simple one, for example, we will tell you that you arrive at work at the time which you have agreed on. Not us. You will arrive at 8 if you choose that. And then you will leave at 5 if you choose that. But you are not going to Begangapa Nangapa. Fiscal discipline is where the biggest problem is. Of course, you know that it's a free-for-all in the coffers of this place, but all of that is going to come to an end. We got a solid youth group that is amongst us, and these young people that we have, we're not going to expose them to these evil people called leaders who break people, AIM-Abantu, break children of other parents. It's so dirty when you do that. They say, umyeke samfumana, sambamba apha emncinci khona, we'll catch him there and there. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. But we will unleash them, as we have been doing up to now. We are preparing a solid team. Mr. X was not mistaken when he told you that this thing is not for me and him. It's just that we decided that, okay, no matter how nice a song is, a song needs a lead vocalist. It is, then you just throw it in. You can step aside. The song goes its own way. And that is what we're calling upon our young people. We are doing. We did that, funny enough. The two of us and others here, we did exactly that. No man can tell us. We did that. We put the song and we let the nation and everybody sing. When the song was at its highest, we step aside and allow the song to go. Little did we know that, whoa, Inuka, wolves were all going to crop in and overwhelm our team. That is the problem we find ourselves in today. It is because of that. But still, we are not going to go forward with this thing ourselves into the future. The salvation of this country lies in the young people, and this is the place to be. If you want to be educated, we will help you in every way. If you want to be a business person, we will help you in every way. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a bureaucrat, you want to be a diplomat, we will coach you the way we were coached by those before us. That's what we will do to you. Well, I'm going to say to you, I don't know whether Manga is going to explain to you in Ansika what this symbol, logo symbolizes in our hard place of the Eastern Cape, the first place of the wars of dispossession. When the British colonialists clashed with our people, either on the Gamtus River or up to the Kai River, you will find those colors, the color of alu colors. But this time they go with the sun rays, mitayela, which is what should be really be touching every young and old person in this country to know that we are a great people, to know that we have been here for a long time, and we will continue to be here. And we need you to join us either as an active member, as a volunteering because we don't want to control you. We prefer you to say, I want to go there, I want to support them, and when I don't want to support them, when they mess up, I want to drop them. Please do so. That's what we are saying. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Khusta. Thank you, Khusta. For the members of the media, we have copies of the speech as well as a press release. So after we were done with the Q&A, you can come up to me, we'll make those available to you. So if there are any questions, we'll entertain them. Anybody have anything to ask? Or was that clear enough? Okay, sir. You know the routine, identify yourself and then go ahead.
memberships all over in the metro. How is it going to bring new memberships? Only.
Okay. We'll take a round if there are more questions. You go, sir.
Can you say, I'm Shades Uganda from Malawi. I have got a lot of questions here.
Are you from the media?
No.
Okay. I'll tell you what, let's finish with the media now, and then you can engage with the leadership once we close the formal press conference. Anybody else from the media, or was that the only one? Okay. The question is the extent of mobilization that AIM has done to date. Is that a fair reflection of your question, Mr. Beer? Anybody wants to check on that?
Thank you, Max. Well, those who don't know Max has been around for a long time in that trade of his. Max, we have worked on a plan that suit today's conditions. Meaning that it's not like in the 1970s or 80s or even 90s how you build a membership. What we try to do, first of all, we try to organize a core of people, starting with 3 or 4 people, and we have been building that wall slowly from a central point. That strategy we adopted on numerous occasions before, after realizing that when you pull everybody because it's upset with something, but is not well informed and educated about it, it creates problems. Insofar as our membership, and as I say, you will realize that we don't lay emphasis on building a big membership. After all, when you engage in a task like this, that's not what you need. What you need people who are going to be committed to the values that you stand for. And what we are selling, basically, is we're selling it to the family, the people who want to bring up their children in a safe environment, in a non-toxic society, where there's no social decay, where young people can say that, yes, I'm starting to work now. I am convinced that after 5 years of working or 10 years of working, like Khusta Jack, who stayed in a shack when you first met me in Sweden, today he has moved. That's where I want to be. And once you take that away from the young person, then you open him to all kinds of unwanted things. Other than that, our people will tell you what they are doing in terms of all the available methods of mobilizing. But we are, with the restrictions of COVID-19, we have been attending quite a few small meetings in the various places, from Utney to Spedge, Motherwell, northern areas, and New Brighton, Wazakere, everywhere. So we've got teams that are working there, and that is how really we are building this organization. It's not going to be an organization to demonstrate membership more than to demonstrate supporters and volunteers who want to aim for change. Thank you.
Maybe just to add, one of the unique things about AIM is that we've looked at how political organizations are structured and how they represent residents' interests and needs, and we've rethought this. So we have area teams working in all the areas across our city, so the entire city. We're about the entire city, so it's not just suburbs, it's not just northern areas, it's not just townships, it's not just dispatch or Kureka, it is the entire city. And we're looking at different issues across all of those things. So we have people on the ground busy organizing, but then we have other teams that work on focus areas. So Neil heads up, for instance, our economic development. Graham heads up our sports and development. We have Gail at the back there who's looking at moral, people call it moral regeneration, we want to call it moral building. We think that there's a real task that we can do in terms of the morals of our society and of our city. So those are the areas that we're working at. And then what we've also done is that we're busy engaging with a group of what we call elders that sit outside the party, that are not that don't answer to the party, but we answer to them in terms of that they have unlimited access to us, that can say, as elders, you're going in the right course or you're going the wrong course. And those are people of stature in our city, in the sense that they know the city, they've been here a long time, they've engaged in the issues for many of those years. We won't name them at this point, but we will name them at a later stage. But the elders will then oversee that. So we have a multifaceted structure that aims to bring the voices of the people of our city to our ears, and that we carry across that to the council and to all the decisions and policies that we make. So I don't know, Max, if that explains it a lot better. Okay.
That's good. I take it that concludes the. Oh, sorry. Another question, yes, sorry.
Also, if we don't get that target, majority, let's say 60% don't are you looking at the possibility of commission?
Okay. Any favors for that question? For the benefit of the House, the gentleman wants to know AIM's target for the elections and whether there's a possibility of forming coalition with other parties.
Aim, as we aim for change, will be to get every possible vote for change and make sure that everybody, at least amidst the bribery and money that is there, they must just remember one thing, that there is a future that cannot be bought if it's destroyed, and it must be preserved. And it is our, as we stand, motivation that we think that the people should be able, after having analyzed and examined all the players on the field, take them one by one and step by step and look at their track record and see whether their very own personal stability as human beings. I'm not saying people who have no force. We have ours, everybody got that. But we all, that we put it as a given. Can they take this matter out of the current models? Other than people that have been around, have done things in different ways. That is the message we will be taking to each and every home. Of course. You know the story of the Bible. I like this one because, you know, Noah in the Bible told the people that, hey guys, a terrible rain was coming. The people said, whoa, 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 I know what come, just like, you know, you like to stand. But anyway, coming to your question of whether we will be very solid and unwavering on our principles. We are not wanting to govern at all costs. If the mandate not sufficient to give us the power to do what we have, we will not subject ourselves to the highness in order to have a salary and continue the old same thing. We will sit as backbenchers and watch. That's all what we do. But if anyone feels that he can match up to the standard that we're calling for, then come on, let's build this country. After all, personally, I know that these very people is just that they believe, I don't know why, that corruption pays, but we will convince them, everybody, that corruption doesn't pay, that racism doesn't pay, that fascism doesn't pay. It will lead to a terrible thing, that's all. But we will work with anyone who subscribes total to the values and principles that we talk about. Thank you.
Okay, I think that closes the formal part. There are some snacks in the back. Please enjoy. And if anybody wants a one-on-one with Khusta, please come over. For the still photographers, we'll arrange for the executive to come and pose for a photograph. Okay. Once again, thank you for coming. Thanks for your support.
Thank you.